So do you want to talk about the incident with Vader? And I was actually surprised because we talked to Vader, and because it says on the internet, which we I think discussed a bit off camera, the internet exaggerates things, and it said Vader ended your career. Um, and basically, when we talked to Vader, Vader said no, he had the option and he could have kept wrestling, but he also had an injury and an insurance policy. And you were saying a similar thing in your book. So do you want to tell us the story on that?
Yeah, yeah, and I think part of, again, WCW tried to capitalize, I guess you'd say, on my decision to walk away. Again, not happy that I walked away. So to capitalize on that, I think WCW was promoting Van Vader ended Nikita Koloff's career, right? So that's kind of, I think, how it got out there into the wrestling world. And truth of the matter is, my last match was against Van Vader, and he did injure my neck that night, and I didn't know till the next day, but I got a hernia, lifting him up, 500-pound guy lifting him up. So I got a hernia, so I injured my neck, I got a hernia, I had to have surgery for my hernia, and went through a series of tests for my neck, and you know, everything from a chiropractor to an MRI, neurosurgeon, and they say you're 33 years old, you got the neck of a 55-year-old man with bone spurring arthritis and a deteriorating disc in your neck from you know, all your pile drivers and suplexes and everything, whatever else, right? And the longer you keep going, the higher risk of something more permanent. And we're not saying there will be permanent damage, but you risk that. And so I'm 33, it's Thanksgiving, I got injured right before Thanksgiving, I'm home for Thanksgiving, I'm home for Christmas, I'm home for New Year's. I had the surgery for my hernia, I'm rehabilitating my neck, you know, I'm getting ready to turn 34, and my goal, what I set and determined when the day I broke into wrestling, was that I'd be retired from active wrestling by the time I was 35. So I'm like, I go back for what, a year, 9 months, and what's the point of that? So I just made a calculated decision and walked away under my own terms, and informed the office. But of course, there wasn't going to be any hoopla over there's going to be no retirement party or celebration for Nikita's retirement, which is fine. You know, they sent me a termination letter that I breached, you know, my contract, and that they were terminating my contract, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, that's fine. And I knew I was done anyway, and I had no intention of going back. And so that's the actual story. So Vader is correct. You know, I had an option. I had an option of going back. I mean, I could have went back, but I just made a decision. Time to bronze the boots.
And you had the same Loyds of London policy that Animal had. I think he took a break from wrestling for a while. Kurt Hennig took a break. I think Rick Rude even had that. That's why he was only managing towards the end.
Yeah, so what happened is Tim Peltier, I hired my best friend. He's still my best friend. Tim and I met. He was our quarterback in high school. He actually played with Kurt and Rick and all the guys. Tim did. He was our quarterback in high school. He and I became friends in 1975. Still a friend to this day. Then Tim went on to the junior college. So then Tim and I got to play junior college ball together. We were gonna go play four-year college ball, but he separated his throwing arm. I mean, he was being looked at by some pretty major colleges, Oklahoma Sooners. I mean, he was a wishbone. We ran a wishbone style back then, and he was an incredible wishbone quarterback and had a great arm. But when he separated that shoulder, it put him out of football. And but we remained friends. I think in those days I was the first ever to hire what you would probably call a personal manager. And by that meaning, Tim, I'm going to hire you, pay you a percentage of my annual salary, and you do everything for me, including paying my phone bill, my electric bill, my rent, all my checks are going to be mailed to you. right from Jim Crocker Promotions, right from Ted Turner, directly to your house in Minneapolis. You control everything. Give me a little stipend every week, you know. So you know, if I need to buy something or whatever, I can do that. You know, buy some food, groceries, different things. So he did that, and Tim did a phenomenal job for me. I mean, it was incredible. He hired a CPA firm, an attorney firm, you know, he surrounded an investment firm. He surrounded himself with all these people smarter than him, and then he just managed it all, and then managed me. What eventually happened is, I think Animal was the second one. You know, Joe being, again, we were like brothers, you know, prodigal son to the family, and so we became like so close and like brothers. So he hired Tim. I think he was Tim's second client, and then eventually and then Rick heard about it, and Kurt, and Big Boss Man was a client of Tim's at one point. Tim had about 8 or 9. I mean, marquee name guys that he was handling all of their investments and monies and everything else. And so Tim was the one who's instrumental in initially getting the Loyds of London, and then eventually got all of the guys on policies. And so credit to Tim Peltier, man. He is kudos to Tim. He's a brilliant guy.